Yet another beautiful sunny day in Cape Cod as the Harwich Mariners are set to take on the Falmouth Commodores for the fourth and final time this season. Austin Rooney alongside Thomas and Zarella, glad to have you on hand for tonight's broadcast. And before we jump into tonight's game, we're going to take a look back at last night's 6-1 loss to the Wareham game. And Thomas, what went wrong for the Mariners last night?
Well, the Mariners just couldn't quite score enough runs to beat the game, and again, leaving guys in scoring position was they almost had the same amount of hits as the game at 9-6 in favor of the Gaiman, but the Mariners left nine men on base, even though the Gaiman left actually 12 men. I think that if the Mariners could have put a couple guys or scored a couple guys when they had the opportunities, they might have been more in this game. Instead, it was a little more lopsided in a way. But the pitching was good. I mean, Austin Wood, he struggled at times, but found his stuff, later in the outing, which was a great sign to see. So if he does get another start, well, we'd love to see what he can bring. And then Cal Kruger coming on for the first time since coming back. He only gave up one run, which was unearned. Joe Lasource pitched 2 scoreless, and Lipsius came in to pitch. So it was an eventful pitching outing. Again, Lipsius coming in to pitch. We weren't expecting that really, but able to come on and do a good job, throw 2 scoreless innings.
And now transitioning into tonight's game as the Harwich Mariners again taking on the Falmouth Commodores for the final time this season. And on the mound for the Falmouth Commodores is Mitchell Stone. He's taking on Ricky DeVito, who will be the starter for the Harwich Mariners. What do you look for out of the 2 pitchers tonight?
Well, Stone and DeVito have both had their handful of starts. It'll be DeVito's 4th start, and this will be Stone's 6th. Stone's 0-1 with a 3.37 ERA. He does have 15 walks and 21 in the 3rd innings pitch, though. He does have 20 strikeouts, which is right around where you would want it to be. So he still hasn't picked up a win yet, but he's looked good at times. I mean, he had a nice outing his last time against Hyannis, 5 scoreless, 4 hits, no runs, 3 walks, 3 punch-outs. Again, it's going to be a telling if that walk total continues to rise, because he had back his second to last start in July 7th against Wareham. He had 5 walks, which led to 2 runs more than likely. So it just depends how many guys he's going to walk this evening. And for DeVito, he's a guy that had a really nice, again, another nice start for DeVito. His last time out, July 13th against Brewster. They did lose that game, but again, 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 run unearned, 2 walks, and 8 punch-outs. A brilliant start from DeVito. So if he can continue, he can carry from that round. I remember back in him on July 7th, but again, he bounced right back. Nice hit against Brewster, so we'll see if he can carry that over.
And what 2 players would you like to spotlight from both teams tonight? Who do you look for to have a big game?
Stowers are big power hitters, and this is a struggle for a lot of their season. And if you look in the Cape League, Falmouth will be down there in that cell. Again, a team that not give up a lot of long balls in this game, and then a lot on their pitching. So Mitchell Stone has to start well for the Commodores if they want to win this game. They have the lowest ERA in the league, and then Harwich, of course, number 2, and that's kind of the same story for both sides. The offenses aren't going to score a lot of runs. The pitching is the main thing that drives both these teams to win. So we'll have to see if both respected starters, can give their team a chance to end up winning today's game.
Well, that'll do it for us for the pregame show. We'll step aside for the national anthem and be back for first pitch. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.
So proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Welcome back in the top half of the first inning to White House Field. As the leadoff hitter for the Falmouth Commodores digs in. First pitch swung on, a high fly ball over towards left field. Eichhoff moving back, leaps and makes a nice catch for the first out of the inning. A well-hit ball by Matt Wallner, the left-handed hitter. But it's right at the left fielder Eichhoff. He had to take a couple steps back and made a nice leaping catch, but didn't have to move too much.
And we've seen a couple times this season where Mariners fielders in the outfield area, you know, it's tough to judge a ball at some points, especially one that's hit more on a line. And moving in, first step was Eichhoff, and all of a sudden he realized he had to go back about 2 or 3 steps and made a nice leaping grab out there.
The second hitter in the Falmouth order, Cameron Cannon, steps in from the right side. First pitch from DeVito misses inside for ball 1. You can take us around the diamond for the Harwich Mariners.
Starting left field, Eichhoff. Norman out in center. Rivera over in right.
As a 1-0 pitch is swung on, a shallow line drive into right field. It drops for a base hit in front of Ben Norman. So there's a runner on first base with 1 out in the top of the first.
Starting around the infield at third base, Aaron Shunk. Tanner Morris, the Cavalier, over at short. Casals over at second. And at first base is one of the volunteers, and Andre Lipsius. And Logan Driscoll doing the catching this evening for Ricky DeVito out of Seton Hall.
As Austin Langworthy, the left-handed hitter, digs his back foot in. Runner on first base, 1 out. Top of the first inning in a scoreless ball game. The first pitch from DeVito. Breaking ball misses low as we take you down the lineup for the Falmouth Commodores. Batting first is Matt Wallner. Batting second, Cameron Cannon. Batting third, Austin Langworthy. Batting fourth, Kyle Stowers. In the 5 spot is Davis Sims. Batting sixth, Logan Davidson. Batting seventh, Edward Julian. The 8 hitter is Herbert Iser as the 1-0 pitch misses low and gets away from Driscoll. Advancing to second base is Cameron Cannon. And closing out the order is Will Brennan.
Of course, these Commodores and the Mariners have not faced off for a while. Since last appearance these two teams faced each other was June 21st. So it's been quite a while. Of course, these two teams played a doubleheader back in Falmouth. 3-0 of the Mariners against the Commodores this season.
2-0 pitch swung on, a high chopper over towards first base. Lipsius Fields, he'll step on the bag, and there are 2 away in the top half of the first inning. Runner on third base now for the Falmouth Commodores. Still a scoreless ball game between the two teams. Mariners 3-0 against the Falmouth Commodores this season. As Kyle Stowers will dig in from the left side as well. The first pitch to the left-handed hitter, breaking ball cut on and missed. The 0-1 delivery, breaking ball misses low and in the dirt, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Interesting stat on Stowers. He has hits in 12 of his last 16 games. In every single one of the games he has hits, he has had multiple hits. So it's either he's hitting the ball really, really well or he's not getting anything. And in 12 of the last 16 games, he's hitting the ball really well as the 1-1 pitch misses just outside in the count 2 balls and 1 strike.
Stowers, of course, who will be competing in the Home Run Derby contest right back here on Sunday.
A little bit different than Thomas Dillard from Cotuit, who always has 1 hit. As the 2-1 pitch misses low and outside, count 3-1. We saw Dillard a couple of times for Cotuit.
Dillard, of course, a switch hitter and has a lot of power from both sides of the plate.
The 3-1 pitch misses low and inside to Stowers, and he draws a walk, and the runner's on first and third with 2 outs.
Commodores trying to scratch across the first run here in this ball game, which it always proves to be a very vital run to even just get 1 in the first inning. Gives your pitchers some confidence on the mound and gives your bats a little bit of juice as well.
Runners on the corners, 2 outs. Top of the first inning, a scoreless game between the Commodores and the Mariners. Mariners in their Friday Reds as the first pitch is swung on, a ground ball foul down the third baseline, and the count 0-1. It's Military Appreciation Friday as all home teams across Cape Cod wear the red jerseys. With the white lettering, it just says Cape Cod across the front with the number. Falmouth in their black shirts with the maroon lettering and numbers, the gray pants. As the 0-1 pitch, breaking ball misses upstairs and inside, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Again, a beautiful evening here in Cape Cod. Blue skies above, not too much humidity. The 1-1 pitch to the right-hander, Davis Sims, is swung on. A line drive to left field. Moving over is Eichhoff, and he makes the catch for the final out of the inning. A couple of well-hit balls, one off the bat of Wallner, the other off the bat of Sims, but right to Nate Eichhoff in the left. And that'll do it for the top of the first inning. It's a scoreless game from White House Field. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Mariners baseball and Cape Cod baseball is brought to you by Chatham Bars Inn, a proud member of leading hotels of the world. Cape Cod Healthcare, expert physicians, quality hospitals, superior care. And Curry College. For more information, visit www.curry.edu. Welcome back in the bottom half of the first inning as it's a scoreless game from White House Field. Tanner Morris set to step in from the left side. Thomas, take us around the defense for the Falmouth Commodores.
So starting out in left field, it is Will Brennan. And out in center field,
and the first pitch to Tanner Morris misses low. 1-0 pitch, swung on a ground ball over towards first base, fielded by Sims, flips over to the pitcher, and it's not in time. Tanner Morris does a nice job to beat out the ground ball over at first base. Sorry, we got a little bit sidetracked there with the defense. Thomas, take us around the defense.
yeah, sorry about that. Starting in left field is Will Brennan. Out in center field, Austin Langworthy. Wallner out in right field. Over at third base, Cameron Cannon. Logan Davidson over at short. Julian at second base. Sims over at first. And Iser doing the catching for Mitchell Stone this evening.
And the starting lineup for the Harwich Mariners, batting first, Tanner Morris. Batting second, Aaron Shunk. The three-hitter in tonight's lineup, Andre Lipsius, who did some pitching last night. Danny Casals is in the cleanup spot. Nate Eichhoff batting fifth. Ben Norman batting sixth. Gabe Rivera, the seven-hitter in tonight's lineup. The catcher, Logan Driscoll, will be in the eighth spot. And Will Matheson makes his appearance in the lineup tonight. First pitch misses outside to Aaron Shunk, and the count 1-0. Runner on first base, no outs. Scoreless game from White House Field on a beautiful Friday evening. The 1-0 pitch, breaking ball cut on and missed, and the count 1-1 strike on Shunk.
A nice job by Morris being out that throw over at first base, able to get a single. So now let's see if the Mariners can do something after the leadoff single, maybe get a run here in the first inning if possible.
1-1 pitch. This is for ball two.
Of course, Mitchell Stone, who's on the mound right now for the Commodores, pitched back here in Harwich on June 21st. Took the loss, though.
2-1 pitch, misses low in the count. 3-1 strike on Aaron Shunk.
He pitched pretty well in that game as well. Went 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned, 2 walks, and 5 punch-outs, which that's his only loss on this season. He's made 5 starts already, making his 6th one here.
3-1 delivery, swung on, a high fly ball to center field. Center fielder Langworthy moves over a couple of steps and makes the catch for the first out of the inning. There's one away in the bottom half of the first inning.
Yeah, that's definitely a good piece of wood that Shunk was able to get on that one, but just got a bit tad under it, and just a routiner out there for Langworthy out in center field.
And Andre Lipsius, who bats third in the Harwich Mariners order and is playing first base tonight. We've seen him a little bit all over the place. Plays at shortstop some, first base, also the pitcher. As Morris leads off of first base, the first pitch to Lipsius. Fastball misses low and outside, and the count 1-0 strikes. The 1-0 delivery swung on and fouled off. Count 1-1 strike. One out in the bottom of the first inning. The 1-1 delivery to Lipsius. Fastball misses upstairs and outside. And the count 2-1 strike. The 2-1 pitch. Breaking ball misses low in the count. 3 balls and 1 strike. Lipsius was majoring in nuclear engineering at Tennessee. Quite the major for the right-handed hitter. Said he may also be interested in some aerospace engineering as well. 3-1 delivery. Fastball on the outside corner, count 3-2. I have to tell you, Thomas, I don't know a single thing about either nuclear or aerospace engineering.
Yeah, I do not know either. I know my sister's going towards the engineering aspect, but I know nothing else.
3-2 pitch swung on and fouled off down the right field side. I know it's a lot of science, probably a lot of math involved in there. I'm more in the arts and letters at Notre Dame, not in the science or engineering field. The 3-2 pitch to Andre Lipsius, swung on and fouled off behind home plate down the first base side, out of play.
Well, it's interesting on Mitchell Stone, who's the pitcher right now. He just finished his freshman year. He's 6'9" on the mound. He's very tall.
3-2 pitch misses outside, and looked like they may have had a shot at getting Morris, but it's going to be a walk for Lipsius. Oh, he swung. Excuse me. He goes down swinging. 2 outs, so why did he point over to first base then? The home plate umpire pointed over to first base as if to give him first. So he pointed over to first base to check to see if he went around, and then he found that he didn't. So now there's a runner on second. That's Tanner Morris. So excuse me, there's 1 out and 2 outs now in the bottom half of the first inning.
And it confused the Commodores fielders as well, as they didn't tag Lipsius.
And they had Lipsius. He was way out over at second base. And the count 0-1.
Or excuse me, Morris, not Lipsius, over at second. Sorry about that.
So Danny Casals, the cleanup hitter for the Harwich Mariners, digs in from the right side. My view is actually totally blocked to the first base umpire, so I couldn't see any of that as the 0-1 pitch is in there for strike 2. I thought the home plate umpire was motioning over to first base as to show Lipsius that he was going to go over for a walk. This little pillar here at the windowsill is, I can't even see the first base umpire at all, so excuse me for that mistake on my part. The 0-2 delivery, fastball outside in the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Danny Casals. The 1-2 pitch from Stone, swung on and fouled off over towards the Harwich Mariners dugout. And the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Runner on second base, 2 outs. Mariners have a runner in scoring position looking to take the lead in the bottom of the first. The 1-2 pitch to Casals, swung on a high pop-up down the right field line, tailing foul and out of play. The count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes on Casals.
Yeah, Casals, who we've seen, back in yesterday's game, really starting to put some base knocks together, or not just base knocks, but really putting some good wood on the barrel of the ball. Although sometimes they're not going for hits, he's at least making good contact with a couple flouts yesterday.
1-2 pitch, breaking ball. Check swing from Casals. He doesn't go around.
And just going back to Mitchell Stone. Stone, who only pitched 4 1/3 innings pitched back at school. And his ERA is a 6.23. He's done a nice job since coming here to Cape. I think it's been beneficial for him.
2-2 pitch, swung on, a ground ball over towards second. Julian moving over towards his left. Fields and throws over to first, and that will do it for the final out of the bottom of the first inning. At the end of it, 1 inning of play, it's the Mariners nothing and the Commodores nothing. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. left field line. He's one ball hitter. Now, it also helps for Davidson that he's a left-handed hitter and he's a shortstop. There are not so many of those. We, of course, see Tanner Morris, the Mariners' own, who is a left-handed hitting shortstop. But generally, you know, you're a left-handed or a right-handed throw if you're a shortstop. So usually you're going to be a right-handed hitter. Just that's what happens more often than not as the 1-2 pitch misses outside in the count 2-2.
Well, Davidson's part is actually a switch hitter, so he's able to hit from both sides of the plate. And this is his second year on the Cape, and as well hit .210 last year, so his average has even dipped even more here in his sophomore campaign on the Cape.
2-2 pitch misses just upstairs with an off-speed pitch in the count 3 strikes on Logan Davidson. And Davidson started the year, he was supposed to be the best hitter in Falmouth's lineup, but he's moved down to the 6th spot. The payoff pitch swung on a high pop up down the third base line, giving chase is Shunk. He'll run out of room over towards the Mariners' bull.
Well, I think a little kid made a nice grab out there is what the fans are applauding down there. I saw one kid slip down the hill, and then I saw another kid chasing after the ball. I just wasn't sure if he caught it or not, and he ended up catching the ball. I think he should, Coach Enger better sign him up maybe a couple years, you know, get him out there.
The 3-2 pitch. Breaking ball on the inside corner for strike 3. Davidson cannot believe it. He was jogging down the first base line. Maybe had 3 or 4 steps already into his jog when the home plate umpire, James Fonseca, said, well, not so fast. You're out on strikes. One away in the top half of the second inning as the 7-hitter, Edward Julian, will dig in from the left side. Julian also struggling at the plate. He's hitting just .155 this season. First pitch, fastball at the knees for strike 1.
And that is now DeVito's first punch out of this evening. Again, he had 8 his last start back in Brewster.
The 0-1 pitch, fastball on the outside corner, and the count 0-2.
He's really pounding the zone early on these Commodores hitters. Establishing that fastball early in the count.
The 0-2 pitch misses outside in the count 1-2.
It's a good looking pitch, but just didn't quite catch it. I think it's just a little bit too low.
Home plate umpire calls time. Base paths are empty. 1-2 count in the top half of the second inning. And a scoreless ball game from White House Field. We're glad to have you on hand for tonight's ball game as the 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball swung on and missed by Julian, and they're 2 away in the top of the second.
And just like that, after now recording a strikeout in the first inning, he strikes out the first 2 hitters here in the second. So DeVito maybe feel just a little more comfortable here in the second inning against these Commodores hitters.
And Herbert Iser, the catcher for the Falmouth Commodores, digs into the left-hander's batter's box. First pitch from DeVito. Breaking ball misses upstairs, and the count 1 ball and no strikes.
Of course, when I saw a lineup card for the Commodores, I want to say almost like John Isner, you know, the tennis player.
I thought about that as well as the 1-0 pitch. Breaking ball swung on and missed, and the count 1-1.
Now, Iser's only 6'3", so he's got some maybe catching up to do if he wants that at the end in there.
Is Eisner 6'7"?
He's like almost 6'9", 6'10", I believe.
Don't want to be facing off against him with the serve.
Because they're talking about this morning on Mike Tirico was on the coverage of the Open Championship.
1-1 pitch. Fastball swung on and fouled off.
And he's 6'10".
He's got to have great leverage on that serve. One of the faster servers in all of tennis. The 1-2 delivery. Breaking ball swung on and missed, struck him out. As Iser goes down on strike. So a 1-2-3 inning in which Ricky DeVito strikes out the side at the top of the second. Still a scoreless game from White House Field. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Bottom half of the second inning from White House Field. And the 5-hitter in the Harwich Mariners order, Danny Casals, steps foot in the left-handed batter's box. Nate Nykoff has hit well after he struggled to start the season. The first pitch, a breaking ball on the outside corner for strike one. It's all about confidence at the plate. He's someone who will go on a lot of hot streaks and cold streaks throughout the course of a season. Start of the season ice cold, but since then he's been hitting the ball well as the 0-1 pitch swung on and fouled back to the screen behind home plate. Count 0-2. Ever since the 0-for-28 start, he's hitting well over 300. Been one of the best hitters and most consistent hitters on this Mariners team. The 0-2 pitch swung on, a ground ball. Nice backhand stop by the second baseman. Throw on to first is not in time. Nicely done by Julian, fielding that ball up the middle. But the throw to first was not in time to get Nate Nykoff. So there's a runner on first in the bottom half of the second inning to lead things off for the Harwich Mariners. And Nate Nykoff continues to be that consistent hitter for the Harwich Mariners.
That was a hard hit ball up towards the second base area, and nice backhand play by Julian at second base. He just double clutched to the end. I wasn't sure if he was going to lose his balance or maybe if I'm not exactly sure why he double clutched, but good play.
Well, his average officially is 333 since the cold start for Nykoff as the first pitch to Ben Norman misses upstairs and outside. Ben Norman said about switching over to his time on Cape Cod. He told me it's all about timing. And he's trying to shorten his swing maybe just a little bit, make sure he's on time with the higher velocities as the 1-0 pitch is swung on. A high fly ball to left field. Moving over is the left fielder Brennan, who makes the catch for the first out of the inning.
And your right timing is everything at the plate. Again, just able to bring that barrel to bat in just maybe a half a second earlier or half a second later could be the difference between getting a base hit or not, especially against some of these guys that are able to throw mid-90s.
And while Gorski's not in the lineup tonight, I talked to him before the game, and he was telling me the same thing. It's all about timing with his front foot. As the first pitch is swung on and missed from Gabe Rivera, count 0-1.
That's just the whole breakdown of a swing. Some guys have a leg kick, some guys don't. You know, you always think of Jose Bautista and his leg kick is so high, but that's how guys generate a lot of their power in there. It's really their timing mechanism. This up that, you know, I'm a lefty. So if I pick up my right foot, that's how I generate more of the timing, and that's my swing.
Count Gabe Rivera, who hit 5 home runs at Fenway Park. I was talking to him about that, and he was telling me it looked like a building out there in left field. The monster did as the 1-1 pitch misses low and inside, and the count 2-1. He wasn't looking to hit the ball over the monster. He just saw the pitch as well and was hitting the ball really hard, and he ended up hitting a couple balls out of the park. Actually, one was out of Fenway altogether.
He's a guy that has a lot of power.
2-1 delivery, swung on and missed, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes.
You saw him hit a missile out to straightaway center field for a triple last night in the 9th inning.
He's got a ton of power, as you mentioned. It's all about putting it all together. He's getting more at-bats now than he did back at Miami as the 2-2 pitch is cut on and fouled off down the right field side out of play.
He's a guy that's only a freshman as well, so he's got, another year to figure it all out.
He's going to get more playing time this year clearly as a sophomore and after getting these very high-quality at-bats. Seeing a lot more velocity here than he did back in the ACC, too. The 2-2 pitch swung on a high fly ball to right field. Wallner drifting over towards the line. He makes the catch for the second out of the inning. 2 away. He was telling me that pitchers in the ACC are a little bit different. They don't have a lot of velocity. Instead, they're sort of quirky guys who are very strategic in their pitching motion. As Logan Driscoll was the catcher in tonight's ball game for the Harwich Mariners. Left-handed hitter. 2 of the Mariners' 3 catchers are left-handed hitters. All right. First pitch to Driscoll swung on and a chopper over towards the Falmouth dugout, and the count 0-1. Runner goes, 0-1 pitch, misses outside, and Eichhoff will dive in despite the fact the ball got by Iser. So Eichhoff over to second with the stolen base. A little bit surprised Eichhoff tried to dive into second there. The throw would have been about 20 seconds late.
Well, I heard some shouting, so that's why maybe I thought the play was going to be close or something. Not exactly sure always, because as a runner, you don't want to look back towards home. You just dig towards second.
1-1 pitch, swung on a high chopper over towards first base. Sims fields. He'll step on the bag, and that will do it for the bottom half of the second inning. We're done with 2 innings of play. It's still scoreless from White House Field. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Mariners Baseball and Cape Cod Baseball is brought to you by Curry College. For more information, visit www.curry.edu. Chatham Bars Inn, a proud member of leading hotels in the world. And Cape Cod Healthcare. Expert physicians, quality hospitals, superior care. Top of the third inning, the 9-1-2 hitters due up for the Falmouth Commodores in a scoreless ball game. Austin Rooney alongside my broadcasting partner Thomas Zarella. Glad to have you on hand for tonight's game. First pitch from the right-handed pitcher Ricky DeVito. Misses low and outside for ball one. The 1-0 pitch swung on a high chopper over towards short. Charging in is Morris. The throw to first is in time. Really close play at first base and an outstanding play by Tanner Morris to make the throw in time. And there's one away in the top of the third.
Even though Will Brennan's in the 9th spot in this lineup, he was a guy that when these two teams faced off in the doubleheader, he was the leadoff hitter for the Commodores, and he's got some speed as well. And nice play by Morris to come charging in and then make a strong throw while on the run. It's kind of a sidearm throw to get the speedy left fielder in Will Brennan.
And Wallner digs into the left-handed batter's box. First pitch misses low and in for ball one. Base paths empty, top of the third inning in a scoreless ball game between the Falmouth Commodores and the Harwich Mariners. The 1-0 pitch. Fastball on the outside corner, and the count even at 1 ball and 1 strike. The 1-1. Swung on a high pop-up foul down the third base line, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. The 1-2. Breaking ball low and in, and the count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes, and the leadoff hitter, Wallner. We mentioned Logan Davidson, one of the highly touted prospects for the Falmouth Commodores. Well, it doesn't stop there. Wallner is another one of them. A lot of the mock drafts, again, very, very early mock drafts, they have him going in the top 15 or so, as the 2-2 pitch, check swing. Motion over to first, and he goes around. And Wallner cannot believe it. He's having a couple of words with the home plate umpire, James Fonseca, and he's saying, slow down, slow down. You don't want to say anything else because the next thing you know, he'll be out of this ball game. Because he can't argue balls and strikes.
And the manager, Jeff Trundy, came out for a second now. The last couple games here at White House Field, there have been just numerous, I think, instances of calls that have been a little bit questionable, and managers have come out. We saw Mike Roberts, literally from the third base box, shouting, walking in towards the home plate umpire, making, you know, his proposition of why the call is wrong.
And the first pitch, a breaking ball on the outside corner to Cameron Cannon for strike one. And Ricky DeVito's looked quite good over the last couple of innings. He struck out the side in the second. Now earns another strikeout in the top half of the third inning. The 0-1 pitch, fastball swung on a ground ball up the middle for a base hit. Back-to-back hits from Cameron Cannon. He had one in the top of the first inning, adds his second in the top of the third.
And right now he has both hits for the Commodores. The only other person to reach base on this team was Stowers back in the first inning with a walk. Now, Langworthy, who's coming up right now, he had a 2-home run game against Wareham. Again, this is a Commodores team that is third in the league in home runs.
First pitch to Langworthy is in the dirt for ball one. Driscoll couldn't find it, and advancing all the way to second base now is Wallner. Or I beg your pardon, Cannon. So runner on second base, 2 outs for the Falmouth Commodores in a scoreless game in the top of the third.
That's a really smart base running from Cannon. He saw the pitch and it was going to bounce. He took maybe an extra step off for his second error. And they saw that Driscoll couldn't quite find it and then just ran off towards second and he got in there pretty easily.
One 1-0 pitch, fastball misses in, and the count 2 balls and no strikes. The 2-0 delivery swung on a high chopper. Moving in is Morris. Throw to first is in time. And that will do it for the top half of the third inning. A couple of nice plays by Tanner Morris, paired with a strikeout, ends the top of the third. Still a scoreless game from White House Field. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Bottom of the third inning from White House Field, and the 9-hitter is due up for the Harwich Mariners. Scoreless ball game between the Mariners and the Falmadors. Will Matheson, we haven't seen him in quite a while at the plate. First pitch swung on, a high chopper over towards the third base side. Throw to first. Oh, it's going to be a foul ball. Really nice play over at third base by Cannon, but they'll have to do it all over again.
That takes some serious hand-eye coordination to barehand that ball. That was a high chopper right down the line. So he's like tiptoeing down there on the third base side and then able to almost throw. He threw a bullet over there and would have been scooped over by Iser at first. But
it's the count 0-1, the 0-1 pitch. Fastball on the outside corner on the count, no balls and 2 strikes. Now, Will Matheson is normally a pitcher for the Harwich Mariners. He's been a two-way player each of the last couple of years, though. 0-2 pitch, fastball outside in the count 1-2. I was talking to him in our Mariners Monday interview we did with him. He was telling me all about his time at Stanford and how he's trying to do a little bit of hitting and pitching right now. The 1-2 pitch swung on a foul tip. Count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, just try to find which one you feel more comfortable with on either the pitching or the hitting. Or, I mean, today's game, I mean, you can do both. A lot of guys going to the minor leagues now, they're two-way players.
That's right, and a guy like Will Matheson is trying to do both by becoming a starter as opposed to a reliever. The 1-2 pitch swung on and missed. Fastball blown by him by Stone, and there's one away in the bottom of the third inning. And Matheson was telling me that the schedule will be a little bit freer for him if he is a starter because he will have a specific schedule that he will be on as opposed to a reliever when things become more complicated as Tanner Morris digs in from the left side. First pitch, fastball in the inside corner for strike 1, and the count 0-1 on Tanner Morris. The 0-1 swung on a high chopper foul down the first base line, and the count 0-2. Morris now leads the team in batting average at .321. He was ahead of Shunk, then behind Shunk, now ahead of Shunk again, then behind Lipsius, ahead of Lipsius, but he's been one of the most consistent players on this Harwich Mariners roster. The 0-2 swung on and missed. It's in the dirt, and the catcher Iser fields and tags him out. There are 2 outs in the bottom of the third inning. Mariners with 2 hits in tonight's ball game.
I mentioned coming in, this game is probably more like a pitcher's duel because both these two teams, Falmouth being number 1 in ERA and number 2 team in the Cape League area, well, of course, it's the Harwich Mariners. So, and these two teams struggle on offense as well. So, expect a low-scoring game.
First pitch to Shunk is a fastball upstairs in the count 1-0. You know a lot about Shunk's power bat. He's got some good contact hitting as well. His lineup, beg your pardon, not his lineup, his average down a little bit as the 1-0 pitch misses upstairs in the count, 2 balls and no strikes.
Shunk, another one of those guys that will represent the Mariners in the All-Star game here on Sunday.
The 2-0 delivery. Cut on and foul back to the screen in the count, 2 balls and 1 strike. The 2-1 pitch. Fastball outside in the count, 3-1 on Aaron Shunk. Now the 3-1 pitch. Cut on a foul ball down the first base line once again. And the count full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. The 3-2 offering. Swung on and a line drive. And the second baseman, Julian, unable to come up with it. So Aaron Shunk finds himself on first base with a base hit. That's 2 away in the bottom of the 3rd inning.
I almost saw Julian make another play there. He outstretched his glove on the forehand side, but just could only knock it down. He couldn't quite pick it cleanly, and would have been a tough throw. Even if he picked it cleanly, it would change his whole body of direction towards first base. That was being geared towards the right field corner. But anyhow, nice another play by Julian to knock that ball down.
First pitch to the 3-hitter. Lipsius is swung on. A high fly ball in towards right field. And it's going to be in for a base hit. Drops in front of Wallner, and the runners on the corners as advancing all the way to third base from first is Aaron Shunk. And another base hit off the bat of Andre Lipsius, who is now 1 for 2 on the day. It looked like that ball may have been caught by Wallner, but it dropped right in front of him.
I think he conceded that he'd rather let that ball drop than try to make a diving play for it, as if he made a diving play for it, it probably would have let Shunk come all the way around to score. So,
well, runners on, first and third, 2 outs. Danny Casals at the plate. The first pitch swung on, a high fly ball in a shallow center field. Austin Langworthy moves in and makes the catch for the final out of the inning. The Mariners threaten and strand 2 on base at the end of 3 innings of play. It's the Harwich Mariners 0 and the Falmouth Commodores 0. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.
And we'll go back inside White House Field for the top half of the 4th inning. 4, 5, 6 hitters set to do work for the Commodores in this half inning. DeVito works from the windup, and the first pitch runs just a bit outside for ball 1 on Stowers, the DH this evening. Stowers, he walked in his first at-bat. As the 1-0 pitch, a big swing and a miss, just a little bit out in front of that one as DeVito took something off on that pitch as the count is now 1 ball and 1 strike.
DeVito's looked pretty good so far. 42 pitches through 3 innings of work.
One pitch is a high chopper foul. That will just reach halfway between the dugout area between home plate.
Through 3 innings of work, 14 pitches on average per inning. That's going to
Ball cut on and missed, and Stowers goes down swinging. That pitch that was elevated up in the zone as DeVito climbs the ladder on Stowers for the first down. Make that punch out number 5 on the evening. He's recorded 1 every single inning besides the first inning. He recorded 3 in the second, 1 in the third, and 1 now in the 4th inning. So 1 out here in the top of the 4th. Scoreless ball game between the Commodores and the Mariners. That is now Davis Sims, who will step in from the right side, facing the right-handed pitcher in Ricky DeVito. DeVito's actually a switch hitter, but he doesn't get any at-bats here as the first pitch curveball is down at the knees for a strike. Sims, who flew out his first time around, looks to record a base hit here as one curveball bounces in the dirt to the catcher Driscoll for ball 1. Count is now 1 ball and 1 strike. DeVito gets aside from Driscoll from the line. The 1-1 pitch. There's a pitch, another fastball hops in to the catcher Driscoll as it's to drop to his knees. Count is now 2 balls and 1 strike. Sims out of Murray State as a 2-1 pitch swing and a miss. Almost went down to 1 knee on that one as he was way out in front on the off-speed pitch from DeVito. Counting his back up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Sims hitting .275 this year as a 2-2. Sims check swing, strike 3 call on the outside corner. He can't believe it, but James Fonseca punches him out. And that's now back-to-back strikeouts induced by DeVito here in the top of the 4th. There are quickly 2 outs here, and both pitchers have looked fantastic on the mound so far.
Yeah, well, 6 strikeouts over the last 8 total outs from the starting pitcher for the Harwich Mariners, Ricky DeVito. Struck out 3 in the second, 1 in the third, and then another 2 in the 4th.
He had 8 and 6 innings of work back home against Bruce here on July 13th as a first pitch clips the inside corner to the shortstop out of Clemson, Logan Davidson.
We've seen Ricky DeVito be outstanding on a number of occasions so far this season.
A 1 pitch hops in just a few feet short of home plate for ball 1. Count is 1 ball and 1 strike.
Had a couple games where he struggled a little bit versus Chatham. He had a tough time, but his last time out versus Brewster, 6 innings, no earned runs, 5 hits, just walked 2.
As the 1-1 pitch misses low and outside for ball 2. Count is now 2 balls and 1 strike.
And out of the bullpen, he had a couple of very strong performances as well versus Hyannis and Katuitt.
So Davidson looks to reach base here for the first Commodore. The sitting 2-1 pitches swung on and missed the curveball. That was well out of the zone as the count is now 2 balls and 2 strikes on Davidson. DeVito looking to strike out the side for the second time in this ball game. He did it back in the second inning with Davidson, Julian, and Iser after Stowers and Sims went down swinging. The 2-2 pitch swung on and missed. Strike 3 call. And just like that, Logan Davidson is retired by the way of the punch out, and DeVito strikes out the side again. Make that 7 strikes on the evening. So after 3.5, it is a and the Mariners listen to Mariners baseball. field as the Mariners ball game. It's been for the Commodores as here pitch swung on hard. Is in time, and Julian Dykoff, thanks to Julian.
Yeah, outstanding play by Julian. Last time that happened, Eichhoff ended up reaching base, but this time Julian does an outstanding job to field that ball on the backhand. He beats Eichhoff over at first base. He's looked awfully good tonight.
Foreman, after the nice play by Julian, is hit by a pitch as he reaches for the first time this evening. And my goodness, this is unbelievable play by Julian. We saw Davidson make some plays last time here at White House Field back on June 21st. Some plays in the hole, and now Julian. So the two middle infielders, I think this could be one of the better combinations in the whole Cape League on the defensive side. Of course, Davidson, well known with the glove, as first pitch Rivera misses outside for ball one. So one out here in the bottom of the fourth. Norman off of first base. Lefty-righty matchup as Stone comes set from the windup. For the stretch, the 1-0 pitch inside the corner, strike one on Rivera. Count is 1-1 strike. Rivera looks to get his first hit this evening. He flew out to right field in the second inning as the 1-1 pitch is lined in the gap between short and third for a base hit as it just gets past the shortstop Davidson, who is stretching his glove out there in the hole, but just gets underneath it. So after the hit by pitch, Rivera singles as the runners on first and second with one out in the bottom of the fourth.
It's good to see guys like Rivera getting hits right now. Again, I was speaking with him before tonight's game, and he was telling me that the bat's starting to come around for him. Just took him a little bit of time, and he's seeing the ball well, and it just was a bit of a matter of catching up to the velocity, working on his timing, and he finds himself a base hit, and he's hitting the ball very well over the last few games.
So one out and two men on. It is the number 8 hitter, the catcher, Logan Driscoll. First pitch of Driscoll, off-speed pitch slider is on the outside corner for strike one. Driscoll, who's hitting 193 this season, has 2 RBIs, but he's been better as of late at the plate. Time is called on the rubbers as Stone steps off for a second. We'll step back on and get to the side now.
Hitting harder line drives recently. He's hitting a lot of infield hits, but more recently he's getting good piece of wood on the bat.
As the 0-1 fastball runs outside over towards the right-hander's batter's box for ball one. It counts as 1-1 strike. So Stone in a little bit of a jam here. He was in a jam last inning with 2 outs with runners on the corners, but got out of it. As a balk has been called on Mitchell Stone.
That's important because now there's a runner 90 feet away with just 1 out. A simple ground ball could score a run for the Harwich Mariners. And a fly ball could be able to get a run in as well with the sac fly. Base hit could score as many as 2 now. So a big change with that balk. It makes a huge difference with 1 out in the bottom of the 4th inning.
So now a hit can play 2 runs as the 1-1 pitch to Driscoll is fouled back into the backstop for strike 2. Count now 1-2 strikes on the catcher out of George Mason. So I wasn't quite sure. I was actually watching Stone the whole time, but couldn't quite tell what exactly he did wrong.
Well, some of it just such a small movement can make the difference.
Yeah, he almost might have almost come set of the nod as the 1-2 pitch swung on and misses. The wipeout slider gets Driscoll swinging for out number 2. So a big strikeout for Mitchell Stone as they're still, however, a task at hand, and that is 2 Mariners hitters in scoring position at second and third. And if you're Harwich, you want to play at least one of these runs, if not both of them. You don't know how many more opportunities you're going to get as both teams have done a great job on the pitching side so far. And if you're Harwich as well, you're out hitting the Commodores 5-2, so you feel like you should have something as of right now. First pitch of Will Maston is popped up and out of play over on the first base area behind the Commodores dugout for strike 1.
Yeah, Matheson was telling me that he hasn't been focused quite as much as on the hitting over the last couple of weeks. It hasn't not been in the lineup, so just taking batting practice periodically before every game. And just trying to work on becoming a little bit more consistent, but he's been mostly focused on the pitching because that's where he's gotten most of his reps. He's been throwing every week. He's been the Mariners starter every Tuesday, and he's been quite good in that role.
Yeah, they definitely needed him, and they've been a short of arms as of late. The 1-1 pitch is a high fly ball out towards the shallow right field. The second baseman, Julian, gives off to Walner, who makes the catch for out number 3. So the Mariners leave 2 men aboard in scoring position, and after 4 is still a scoreless ball game between the Commodores and the Mariners. Listen to Mariners baseball and the Harwich Mariners. And we'll go back inside White House Field for the top of the 5th inning. Still a scoreless ball game. Of course, these two teams have been more known for their pitching than their offense, and the pitching display has been on here. Ricky DeVito has pitched 4 scoreless innings, 2 hits, allowed 1 walk, and 7 punch-outs. As he'll face off against the left-handed second baseman Edward Julian as the first pitch fastball just misses the outside corner for ball 1. Julian so far struck out as one of those 7 punch-outs pitches. He struck out the side last inning as the 1-0 pitch runs once more off the plate for ball 2. Count is 2-0.
Yeah, and recently, because DeVito's pitched so well, his ERA has gone way down here on Cape Cod, below 2.50. With his strong pitching over the last 10 innings, it was up over 4.5 coming into the last game versus Brewster. Was right around 4.5, and then now it's down to just 2.4.
2-0 pitch misses. Count is 3 balls and no strikes. 3-0 pitch runs inside, and Julian is on with leadoff hitter here in the top of the 5th inning as the Commodores look to maybe draw first blood in this ball game. As Julian works a leadoff walk, and he reaches base for the first time in this ball game.
Second walk of the game from Ricky DeVito, and that's been one of the things he's probably looking to work on right now. He's averaged about a half a walk per inning, which is a little bit above where he wants to be. Rather be around that 1/4 to 1/3 of a walk per inning area. 0.3 as opposed to 0.5.
First pitch to the left-handed catcher Heiser is kind of a lackadaisical swing there. For strike 1, count as no balls and 1 strike as Julian, after his walk is over at first, DeVito will work from the stretch. So the catcher Heiser out of Dallas Baptist, native of Houston, Texas, only 3 for 15 on this season, as the 0-1 pitch is right back with the fastball at the knees for strike 2. Count is now no balls and 2 strikes on the catcher. Heiser waves his bat, wearing his white batting gloves with his white bat as the 0-2 pitch is swung on, lifted high in the air towards right field. Rivera moves back for a second, will shade back in and will make the catch for out number 1. So Heiser flies out to the right fielder Rivera And holding over at first is Julian. So the runner not able to advance.
Number 10, the left fielder.
DeVito continues to make quick work of these Falmouth Commodore hitters. Now just 62 pitches through 4 1/3 innings of work. Again, he's staying under 15 pitches per inning, which is really strong. If you can stay under that 15 pitch per inning mark, you have a shot of going a full 6 innings or even longer.
He went 6 innings this last time out. Looks to do the same here. Guy that's very efficient and pounds the zone as he faces the left fielder out of Kansas State. First pitch runs inside as Brennan has to almost gut check himself and get out of the way for ball 1. And Brennan's a guy that we mentioned before who was at the top of the order in the doubleheader. He actually recorded the only base hit in the first game of the doubleheader back in June in Falmouth, as the Commodores were blanked in that game, 8-0 victory for the Mariners, as the 1-0 curveball is at the bottom of the zone for strike 1. The count is 1 ball and 1 strike.
Many of these Harwich Mariners pitchers are kept to that 85 pitch count. So if you can pitch 14 pitches per inning, you're looking at a total of 84 pitches. So that would put you in a perfect spot over 6 innings of work.
1-1 pitch, fastball runs up above the letters for ball 2. Count is 2 balls and 1 strike, especially the way this bullpen has been taxed us as of late. You would want your start to give you a brilliant start, and especially if the Mariners can go regulation, not go into extra innings, because that will do even more on your bullpen as a 2-1 pitch and running towards second base, but is fouled out of play. As Julian was running towards second base, Kennedy is back up at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
A lot of Mariners pitchers aren't here as they were back in the beginning of the season, so trying to get work out of as many guys as they possibly can. Mariners have been adding some players recently, trying to address that problem.
The 2-2 from DeVito swung hard on the ground between first and second for a base that gets past Lipsius, as running towards second was Julian. Also stop over there. He took a strong turn and he's waving his arms up like and disbelieving that his third base coach didn't let him go. And there was a miscommunication over there, but so locked over at second base, and now on first is Brennan as he picks up a 1-out single here in the top of the 5th. And the Commodores now in distance as well. They have 2 men on with 1 out, so they can also do some damage here in this inning if they can find a way, or if DeVito can maybe overpower these Commodores lineup.
Yeah, the Commodores have gotten a couple of base hits now, or a walk and a base hit, and they find themselves with a runner in scoring position of their own. So we'll have to see how DeVito is able to adjust. He hasn't really been in a jam at all yet. So we'll have to see if he can retire the top of the order, because Falmouth Commodores have the top of the order, Wallner, Cannon, Langworthy coming up.
And it is, you mentioned before, the top of the order right fielder Matt Wallner, who is 0 for 2 this evening, is a guy that's hard to keep quiet, a guy that's hitting over 300. Has 4 long balls and 8 RBIs, just in 39 at-bats coming in, as the first pitch is swung up in the air, and it will reach the seats behind the third base bleachers side for strike 1.
They're talking about a lot of the pitchers having to leave and go back home for the Harwich Mariners. A few players recently added, including Gage Gillian. Cal Kruger was added this past week. And then a couple of additional players, including Matt Cronin and Jacob Westfall.
1 pitch is a hard chopper down the first base side, but it will go down towards the Commodore bullpen area for strike 2. As DeVito's ahead in the count on Wallner. No balls and 2 strikes. So 1 out here, runs on first and second. Scoreless ball game between the Commodores and the Mariners here in the top of the 5th. It is Redshirt Friday here at White House Field. As the 0-2 pitch from DeVito was a slow chopper over towards the first base side, but it was fouled at the plate as DeVito was running off the mound, ready to flip it over towards first. As the home plate umpire, James Fonseca, will toss DeVito new ball, and he'll back towards the mound. As the count remains no balls and 2 strikes. So sun's beginning to digress from the sky here at White House Field, as most of the field now is in the shade and the shadows. Lights are starting to come on here. 0-2 from DeVito. At the knees for strike 3 call, and Wallner can't believe it as he strikes out for the second time this evening, especially in back-to-back plate appearances. As he now is over 3 on the evening, and there are quickly 2 outs. There was a big strikeout from DeVito. And make that number 8 on the evening. That's how many he had back in Brewster, which is his season high of 8 strikeouts. And he has looked fantastic and very sharp on the mound for the Mariners as he just one more out from getting out of this jam as the first pitch to Cameron Cannon, the third baseman. Curveball just does not clip the inside half of the plate for ball 1.
Caleb Freeman throwing in the Harwich Mariners bullpen.
DeVito comes out, looks back at the runner at second, looks him back once more. And he kicks and fires towards home. The 1-1 curveball misses for ball 2. It was awfully good as Cameron ducked, as it looked like he thought maybe he was going to try to hit him. It's almost like a Little League trick where you just duck down and all of a sudden your strike zone shrinks.
I think that's exactly right.
I think that's exactly what happened there because I think that finished right at the knees, but Cannon's 2-0 as two pitches cut on and missed by Cannon. Cannon's 2-1 now.
You duck down, all of a sudden the strike zone is non-existent.
It's tough for an umpire to always tell where a strike zone can be, especially when a guy ducks. And I don't think James Fine, second home plate umpire, sees that very often because you see it more around the the 11, 12-year-old range in Little League. But
well, there are a lot more balls flying towards people's heads at the 11, 12-year-old age because they just don't have control.
2-1 pitch is a high pop up on the right side of the infield. The second baseman Casals calls off Lipsius, the first baseman, makes the catch for out number 3. So the Commodores leave a pair of runners themselves over on first and second. And after 4.5, there's a scoreless ball game between the Commodores and the Mariners. Let's do Mariners baseball and the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.
Cape Cod Healthcare is the leading provider of healthcare services for residents and visitors of Cape Cod with 2 acute care hospitals and more than 450 physicians. For more information, please visit capecodhealth.org. Cape Cod Healthcare, expert physicians, quality hospitals, superior care.
And welcome back inside a beautiful White House field for the bottom half of the 5th inning. Still a scoreless ball game. Only 8 hits combined in this ball game as the first pitch curveball to Tanner Morris runs just a bit in for ball 1. Morris so far is 1 for 2. As the 1-0 pitch misses again for a ball count is 2 balls and no strikes. Stone working quickly here. It's a 2-1 pitch. Is spot on the outside corner for strike 1.
And Tanner Morris looking back at that spot. He's not quite sure that was a strike, but home plate umpire James Fonseca has not been pleasing too many people on either side tonight.
2-1 pitch is a little bloop hit out above the shortstop of Davidson as he'll drop in for a base hit. And there's now 2 singles on the evening for the shortstop out of Virginia, Tanner Morris, and he's on board here. Leadoff hitter in the bottom of the 5th.
Good piece of hitting from Tanner Morris going the other way with that ball. It's Again, a bit of a bloop hit in towards left center field, but still a solid line drive off the bat of Tanner Morris, and he's aboard to lead things off in the bottom of the 5th.
It was still at the edge of the barrel, just enough to put it above the shortstop Davidson. As first pitch to Aaron Shunk is a line drive out towards right field. A drop for a base hit as Morris had to wait, make sure it was going to drop, and it will advance towards second base. So they'll go station to station here in the bottom of the 5th after 2 back-to-back singles to start things off of Mitchell Stone. And now a left-hander begins to warm in that Commodores bullpen.
And it's good to see Aaron Shunk getting some base hits. He fell cold over the last week or so, but now back-to-back hits for him. One back in the 3rd inning, now one here in the 5th.
So now with 2 men on and nobody out, it is the 3-hole hitter, the first baseman out of Tennessee, Andre Lipsius. First pitch skips into the dirt, up into the catcher for ball 1. Lipsius bat on his shoulder, brings it off his shoulder now. Lefty-righty matchup. Still looks back at Morris at second base as the 1-0 pitch just does not catch enough of the black part of the plate as the count is now 2 balls and no strikes.
Mitchell Stone has generally had good control this evening, as no walks, 46 strikes compared to 25 balls, but fell behind in the count to Morris, and now here 2-0 on Lipsius, make that 3-0.
You mentioned the 3-0 pitch, or 2-0 pitch runs well outside, as now the catcher Iser will go out to talk to his southpaw. As now he will run back behind home plate. His count is 3 balls and no strikes, and Stone is in danger of putting Lipsius out there, loaded the bases. Stone comes set. The 3-0 as he'll spin and turn towards second, but scurrying back to second is Tanner Morris, and Davidson was nowhere to be found. So just to keep him close over there, now a pickoff.
Yeah, it's tough for Davidson because he wants to be at double play depth right now, but he also has to try to hold on that runner.
3-0 pitch, and that runs well outside, and so Lipsius is on board here for the 2nd time this evening, and he singled before that. So now it is up to the cleanup man this inning, Danny Casals, who is 0 for 2.
Mariners are going to have a couple of opportunities to try to score a run with an out. We've talked about it a number of times on the broadcast. You know, trading those runs with outs when you can. The Mariners have an opportunity to not only trade one run with an out, but an opportunity to trade multiple. If they can get a couple of sac flies, they may be up 2-0.
Yeah, again, I think it's going to be a game where if whoever gets to 1 first will end up winning this ball game, as the pitching coach comes out, but a lefty will come in out of bullpen, Mitchell Miller out of Clemson. So that will do for the night for Mitchell Stone, as the bases are loaded here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Still a scoreless ball game. So we'll step aside as he warms up. Listen to Mariners baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Welcome back inside White House Field as new pitcher on the mound is the left-hander out of Clemson, and Mitchell Miller out of Covington, Georgia, is 1-1 on this season. 4.30 ERA, making his 7th appearance. He's pitched 14 2/3 innings pitch. Has allowed 13 hits, 8 runs, 7 earned, including 8 walks, but however 22 strikeouts, and this is a strikeout situation that he definitely needs. He's at least get 1 or 2, and at least 1, and then maybe get a double play ball as Denny Casals will step back in as lefty-righty matchup. Miller stepped off the mound for a second. We'll come back, but this time Casals calls time, so maybe a battle of waiting so far between Miller and Casals.
Miller looked really good his last time out versus Wareham. 3 innings of work, allowed just 1 hit and 1 walk, struck out 2.
First pitch to Casals. Casals is looking to maybe elevate something here. He's a guy that's already flied out once this evening.
They've got Tanner Morris on first base. He has some speed.
A 1 pitch to Casals is grounded hard on the ground down the third base line for strike 2 as Casals is in the hole at no balls and 2 strikes.
And I think the Harwich Mariners would be happy to plate at least just 1 run here. If they can get 1 run on the board, they'd be happy at least have themselves a lead and bring that into these latter innings when the Harwich Mariners may need just that 1 run. The pitching's looked outstanding.
0-2 pitch to Casals, broken bat over towards first base. The first baseman throws it, Sims throws it past the catcher, Iser. 1 comes in, now Shuck will score, and advancing towards second base is Casals, and that'll be an error charged to the first baseman, Sims. And you just have to wonder if that broken bat maybe had to do something to do with it, as by the time it came down, he was already set to throw. And maybe the runner Morris
2 crucial runs for the Harwich Mariners. Most importantly, you mentioned the broken bat. It swung on, and then it's a chopper over towards first base. And when Sims comes over to field that ball, a lot of that bat is coming right at him. And he did maybe try to rush the throw a little bit, but he had all sorts of time to get Tanner Morris. I think he just had to take a second, throw the ball to the plate. You're not going to get the double play ball, but that's fine. All you need is the 1 out and that lead out, and he threw it into the dirt.
So now Lipsia stands on third base. Casals on second. Still nobody out, and is now the left fielder, Nate Eichhoff. 2 runs across on that play. 2-0 Mariners lead. First pitch, Eichhoff. Curveball is a slow chopper back past the first base. Davidson will field it, set his feet, throw on to first. And Eichhoff is retired here on 1 pitch and the bottom of the 5th.
I'm a little surprised that Lipsius didn't try to go home. It was a very soft ground ball over towards Davidson. Now, Davidson's got a good arm, but it wouldn't have been a terrible idea to try to test him. It's no longer a forced play at home plate, so it didn't just have to be a throw to the plate to Iser, and that would be all. He could have, would have had to apply the tag and everything, so it has to be a lot better of a throw than just get that simple force out at home plate.
I think he might have thought Miller might have had a play as he did. He tried to play it off the mound, just got past him. As a first pitch to Ben Norman. This is for ball 1. That's the thing. You got to make sure it kind of goes through, and Miller, especially as a left-hander, he's going to fall off towards that third base side when he finishes. 1-0 pitch. Misses again for a ball count. Is 2 balls and no strikes on Norman. Norman so far has flown out and was hit by a pitch his last time around back in the 5th. So 2-0 Mariners lead over the Commodores. 2 runs in this inning after the error by the first baseman Sims as the 2-0 curveball runs off the plate on the outer half. Count runs to 3-0. So still 1 out. Runners on second and third. 3-0 count on Norman. The pitch. 3-0 fastball is taken all the way at the belt level for a strike. Count is now 3 balls and 1 strike on the center fielder out of Iowa. Miller comes set. He kicks and fires. 3-run curveball on the outside corner once again at the black belt level. Count runs full now on Norman. He restraps his batting gloves outside the batter's box. Takes a practice hack and will step back in to do battle. The payoff pitch to Norman. Curveball just misses On the inside half of the plate, Miller thought it was good as well as his catcher Iser, but
really close, really close on that pitch on the inside corner. I guess misses just off the inside corner. And I think it was a ball. I think it was the right call from James Fonseca, but it's just so hard to tell. It was really close on that inside corner against Ben Norman.
So the bases are loaded again once more, and it's now Gabe Rivera who singled his last time around. First pitch, Rivera misses down below the knees for ball one.
And the Mariners an opportunity to give themselves a really nice insurance cushion in the bottom of the fifth. If Gabe Rivera could play a couple of runs with a double or even a triple, as we saw last night from him.
1-0 pitch to Rivera, check swing. Did he go around? And he did, says the umpiring crew. So count is now 1-1 strike on Rivera. Bases loaded, one out here in the bottom of the fifth. 2-0 Mariners lead. The 1-1 pitch to Rivera. Fastball spot on the outside, a corner for a strike. Count is now 1-2 strikes on the right fielder out of Miami. They're looking for a big double play ball here. The 1-2 pitch to Rivera. A chopper over towards shortstop. Flip on to second, back over to first. Is in time. 6-4-3 double play from Davidson to Julian, back over to Sims. And just like that, the threat is thwarted here in the bottom of the fifth inning. But 2 runs do come across off the air by the first baseman Sims. As Shunk and Morris were able to come around and score. So after 5 is a 2-0 ball game in favor of the Mariners. Listen to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. One again misses for a ball. As now Langworthy's ahead in the count. 2-1 strike. Langworthy, a 31st round draft pick by the Reds back in 2017, as a 2-1 pitch is popped up behind the air towards the Mariners dugout area. Both Shunk and Driscoll will give some chase to it, but realize that it's over the bleachers on the third base side for strike 2. South County is back up at 2-2 strikes on Langworthy. It was a big offensive piece this year for the Florida Gators down in Gainesville. Time is called here. Langworthy's also towards the top of that home run lead list with 5 long balls, as the 2-2 pitch cut on and miss for strike 3, and Langworthy goes down swinging. And that is another strikeout for Ricky DeVito. Make that number 9. That is now a season high as he tries to work through the 6th inning. So with 1 out there in the top of the 6th, it is the DH, Kyle Stowers, out of Stanford. First pitch misses low for ball 1. Stowers, as I mentioned before, will be competing here for the All-Star game right back here at White House Field. As the 1-0 pitch clips the outside corner for a strike, as the count is back coming to 1-1 strike. Stowers, who's hitting .347 coming in. 1 pitch, just getting a piece of it, fouls it back over towards the dugout area of the Commodores, as he's now behind the count 1-2. 0 for 1 this evening with a walk back in the first. Struck out in the 4th. Still searching for his first base hit in this evening's ballgame. Hits have been hard to come by for the Commodores, only 3 so far. 1-2 to Stowers as a line drive out towards right center field gap. And I'll drop it for a base hit. Stowers will head towards out across first base and into second base with a 1-out double, as the center fielder Norman went to go field that one.
I think it would have been a close play, but Norman ended up falling down out there in right center field. So he had trouble fielding that ball, and it took a while for him to get that ball in.
Yeah, it seems like he slipped out there. in right center. Couldn't quite get his footing down right.
Well, let's see what's going to happen with Ricky DeVito. He's now thrown 83 pitches. We'll have to see how long he will go.
So after Driscoll makes a quick mound, this will return back, and digging in from the right side now is the first baseman, Davis Sims.
And you mentioned 9 strikeouts sets a season high on Cape Cod and also ties a season high over at Seton Hall.
First pitch is lined right back in the middle. Second baseman Casals will move to his right to field that, as it almost had the glove of DeVito, but Casals will record the out. So 4-3, mark it down as Stowers advances over towards third on the ground out. So 2 outs here in the top of the 6th inning. Runner on third. So it's now the shortstop Logan Davidson, who started the inning-ending double play just last inning. He looks to play the run here for the Commodores, and will have to go by the way of a hit because there are 2 outs in the inning.
DeVito went over 85 a couple of times at Seton Hall. Threw 105 pitches once, 106, 97 one other time. So he has experience going a little bit deeper into ball games, but to make sure the health of the arm is still there, especially in summer ball after having thrown a number of innings. The Harwich Mariners are pretty firm on that 85 number, and maybe if you can get to 90 or 93 to get that final out, they'll say okay, but generally they want to keep him under 85 because that will keep the arm healthy.
1-0 pitch is on the outside corner for a strike to Davidson. Counting his back up at 1 ball and 1 strike.
Generally, especially right now in baseball, starting pitchers are going fewer and fewer innings in the MLB, and they want to keep their arms healthier, younger and younger, so that they don't have to deal with the Tommy John surgeries or the other injuries to the arms.
DeVito goes right back with the fastball on the outside corner for a strike. Count is now 1 ball and 2 strikes. So DeVito trying to work out of this inning here after the 1-out double by Stowers. Sims grounded out, and Stowers advances toward third, and that's where he is currently over at third base. So 1-2 count, 2 outs here in the top of the 6th inning. 2-0 Mariners lead over the Commodores. DeVito gets his sign, comes set, looks back, the runner at third. The curveball cut on and missed, and Davidson goes down swinging. And that is another strikeout for Ricky DeVito. That is 10 on the evening, and his night will more than likely be done after 6. And he gets Davidson for the third time this evening as Stowers is stranded over at third base. So after 5.5, it's a 2-0 Mariners lead over the Commodores. Listen to Mariners baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.
The Beach House Grill at Chatham Bars Inn Resort and Spa is a perfect spot for a seaside lunch or evening clam bake. A proud member of leading hotels of the world.
And here back inside White House Field. That is the home half of the 6th inning. Mariners lead this one 2-0 as they try to maybe add a few more after they scored 2 back in the 5th. Leading things off as the catcher Logan Driscoll, and that will hit him and on the hand, so he'll run over towards first base as the first pitch he sees from Miller hits him.
Driscoll on base for the first time tonight after getting hit by the pitch. And Mariners looking to pad their 2-run lead. Scored 2 in the bottom of the 5th inning after an error committed by the first baseman, Sims. He fielded the ground ball after it was a broken bat, and then he threw the pitch wildly home.
As the 9-0 hitter, Will Matson shows a bunt, but pops it up and out of play.
He's got a power bat. We're just yet to see it so far on Cape Cod. He had 7 home runs and right around 80 at-bats back at Stanford, and that's a really, really good number. Put that over a 200 at-bat season, you're looking at close to 18 homers.
Matson shows the bunt again, but misses for a ball as the count is now 1-1 strike on Matson. I believe he did pull one out over the Green Monster out in left field when he was at Fenway, where it came awfully close. I can't remember if it actually did go over or not. As Miller is set 1-1 pitch, showing bunt again as Matson. He puts it down the first base side, but it will trickle foul as the count is now 1-2 strikes. So he'll more than likely hit away now with 2 strikes on him.
Well, Matheson has yet to really get the bat going on Cape Cod. He's pitched really well. He's been one of the Mariners' top pitchers, and he's used his cutter effectively. It's what has been his out pitch. He has really grown to use that pitch more and more because it's been so effective for him.
1-2 pitch to Matson. There's a line drive right at the center fielder. Langworthy, as he moves over to his left and will record the out. So 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th, as having to go back to first base is Driscoll. That's a good piece of wood that Matson put on that ball.
It's good to see him getting solid contact like that. That ball is hitting probably 75% of the area in the outfield. That's going to be extra bases, but fortunately for Matheson, it's right at Langworthy out there in center field, and he easily makes the catch.
So now the order comes back around to Tanner Moore's first pitch. Curveball from Miller is on the outside half of the plate for strike 1. Moore is so far 2 for 3 with 2 singles. He came back around to score back in the 5th. Played the first run of the Mariners this game as the 0-1 pitch is right down the middle for a strike as Morris is in the hole now and no balls and 2 strikes. So 1 out. Driscoll over on first base after he started leading off with a hit-by pitch. The 0-2 to Morris. Curveball this time plunks him right on the back, so make that 2 hitters in this inning who have been hit from Miller. Both of them have been left-handers as well, so Miller having having a hard time maybe pitching to some of these left-hand hitters.
Yeah, he's just trying to throw the ball a little bit inside, and he ends up coming in and hitting a couple of these guys. And clearly nothing he wants to do. He doesn't want to put 2 runners on base with just 1 out, but it just so happens that balls are getting just a little away from him. You try to work those hitters off the plate a little bit so you can gain an edge on the inside corner, but this time around he's hit a couple of batters.
And is now the dangerous third baseman out of Georgia, Aaron Shunk, as the first pitch fastball is placed on the outside corner for a strike. Shunk this inning as well. He's also 2 for 3. And he also singled and scored back in the 2-run 5th inning as Morris and Shunk did score in that 1 play on the error from the first baseman Sims. 0-1 pitch to Shunk. Fastball runs up and away for a ball. Count is 1-1 strike now on Shunk.
And Mitchell Stone will be, he will get 1 run that will be allowed towards him, charged with 1 run over 4 innings of work. He left the game with the bases loaded and no outs, so he's pretty fortunate to only be charged with a 1 earned run.
1 pitch to Shunk is a big swing and miss for strike 2. Count is 1-2 strikes now on Shunk. Bangs the knob of the bat on his cleats. Led back to the right side. Lefty-righty matchup, runners on first and second, 1 out. Miller will make a deep move over towards second base to check on Driscoll, but nothing doing there. So Shunk back in. Taps home plate twice. Miller comes set. He kicks and deals. The 1-2 pitch is swung on and lifted out of play over on the first base side. So they'll do it again at 1-2 strikes. The 1-2 pitch once more is a line drive down the third base side, but foul over into the Mariners bullpen area. So again, Shunk fouling off another pitch from Miller. Already been 5 pitches so far. This will be pitch number 6 in the AV. The 1-2 pitch to Shunk. There's a slow chopper over towards short. Davidson fields and flips on a second. And that's all they'll get over there as Julian decides to eat it and not throw it over towards first as Shunk was pretty much in there. So it'll be a fielder's choice issued to Shunk. As Morris is retired over at second base and advancing towards third is Driscoll. So they have runners on the corners with 2 outs though. So with 2 outs now is the first baseman out of Tennessee, Andre Lipsius. Will stretch it out before he enters the batter's box. Will ding it from the right side. Lefty-righty matchup. The first pitch of Lipsius. He lifts up his arms, but pitches on the inside corner for strike 1.
Similar tactic used by Lipsius. We've seen this earlier in the game. Ducking, lifting up the arms, trying to show the ball is inside, but sometimes the umpire just not buying it.
A 1 pitch to Lipsius, just getting a piece of that one, and will foul it back towards the screen for strike 2. No balls and 2 strikes on the first baseman, Lipsius. Runners on the corners with 2 outs. Mariners lead the Commodores by a score of 2-0 here in the bottom of the 6th. Look to maybe put on 1 more with Driscoll over at third base. Miller ahead of the count, no balls and 2 strikes. The 0-2 pitch. Well, runs well outside for a ball. Count as 1 ball and 2 strikes.
For the most part, Miller's had good control. The batters he's hit have been anomalies, really. 21 strikes, just 10 balls. Means he has good command of his pitches. If you have that 2-to-1 ratio, you're pitching the ball pretty well. Just a couple balls gotten away from him this inning.
1-2 backdoor curveball just doesn't bite enough on the outside corner. As the count now evens back up at 2-2.
If things don't go the right way for him, could be a couple runs crossing home plate because of it.
Those hit by pitches could be key here in this inning as right towards second base is Shunk, and he'll do a pop-up slide over there at second base as now the force out will have to be thrown all the way across the diamond. Anything on the left side of the infield. It's counted as now 3 balls and 2 strikes on Lipsius.
And a simple base hit could plate 2 runs now for the Mariners and double their lead.
So 3 balls, 2 strikes is the count. 2 outs, runners on second and third. The payoff pitch to Lipsius is swung on, and a line drive hit towards right field. Moving back just 2 steps is Wallner, and he'll track the ball all the way into the glove. As that is out number 3 here in the bottom of the 6th inning. So the Mariners leave 2 men aboard, both in scoring position. As after 6, the Mariners still lead the Commodores 2-0. Listen to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.
Top of the 7th inning from White House Field in a 2-0 Harwich Mariners lead. Stepping in from the left side is Edward Julian. New pitcher on the mound for the Harwich Mariners. Caleb Freeman comes in. First pitch from Freeman. Fastball misses low for ball 1. Austin Rooney alongside Thomas and Zarella. Glad to have you with us for tonight's game. And Caleb Freeman has some of the more interesting haircuts on Cape Cod. The 1-0 pitch misses low on the count, 2 balls and no strikes. He's got the full mullet along with the mustache.
It was interesting pregame. He was sitting over by the tractor on the third base side, and a couple comments being made about him being Joe Dirt over there. Maybe ready to do the field, mop it up already.
The 2-0 pitch is a fastball, misses outside, and the count 3 balls and no strikes.
Of course, a lot of these guys become really close on the Cape and like to have some fun out here before the game starts, especially when you're the home team. You get a little more extra time to relax and just lounge around and have some good times.
3-0 pitch, fastball on the outside part of the plate for strike 1, and the count 3 balls and 1 strike on Edward Julian. The 3-1 delivery, swung on and missed. Count 3 balls and 2 strikes. Freeman does well to get himself back into this count. And Freeman, his last time in, he did struggle versus Wareham. This is somebody who's generally found a lot of success on Cape Cod, but came into the 9th inning looking to go back-to-back days, and he couldn't shut the door versus Wareham as the 3-2 pitch is swung on and fouled off behind home plate, and the count remains 3-2. Put up 4 runs in that bottom of the 9th inning. And Julian, again, leading off from the top of the 7th, the 2-0 Mariners lead. The 3-2 pitch swung on and fouled back right towards me here in the booth. And generally I've gotten used to not flinching, but that one was headed quickly towards me, and I took a little bit of a step back there.
Yeah, you know, it's gets a little bit of used to not flinch. You always see people on TV behind home plate always flinching behind home plate. Those expensive seats down there.
3-2 pitch. Ooh, that one just missed low, looked awfully close. But Edward Julian gets the benefit of the doubt from the home plate umpire, James Fonseca. There's a runner on first base, no outs in the top of the 7th.
Yeah, it was a really close pitch there, but it's been going both ways, and I thought some of them were really close. They're just nibbling down there, just not getting enough.
And Herbert Iser, the catcher in tonight's game for the Falmouth Commodores, steps into the left-handed batter's box. Runner on first base, no outs. First pitch swung on and missed. Fastball that Freeman blows right by him. He's got such good velocity on that fastball, he can blow by nearly anybody. Makes him a big pitcher for the scouts to look at with all that velocity as it translates well to the MLB game. The 0-1 pitch misses low and gets away from the catcher Driscoll, and advancing to second base is Edward Julian. So now a runner on second with no outs. And Driscoll's going to go out and have a chat with Caleb Freeman. So the Harwich Mariners, after scoring 2 runs in the bottom of the 5th inning, that's all the offense they've gotten, but it's all that they've needed so far, as the Falmouth Commodores have not been able to put a run up on the board. They do have a runner on second base with no outs, and you have to wonder, should Iser try to bunt him over and try to get that runner on third with 1 out, possibly try to trade that run with an out? As the 1-1 pitch is swung on and missed, a fastball up and out of the zone, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, you know, you're just wondering, that could have been something that they may have wanted to do but decided not to. Had him swinging away.
Count 1 and 2 on Iser. The pitch misses upstairs and inside, and the count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes on the left-handed hitter. Iser at the plate. And Julian off of second. No outs, top of the 7th inning. Mariners up 2-0 at home at White House Field on a beautiful Friday evening. The 2-2. Swung on and missed. He goes down swinging for the first out of the inning. Another big fastball that Freeman blows right by Iser, and there's one away in the top of the 7th inning.
Nice strikeout there by Freeman. You know, a guy that with the ball that was bounced there, advancing towards second was Julian. So misses fastball at times, but he's got the overpowering stuff that when it's elevating the zone, some hitters just can't quite catch up, and that's what happened there.
And Will Brennan, the 9-hitter, also is a left-handed hitter in the Falmouth order. First pitch, fastball misses low in the count 1-0 on Brennan.
Brennan's the guy that has one of the 4 hits for the Commodores this evening. Found some success at the plate early on.
One-0 pitch, swung on a ground ball foul over towards the Harwich Mariners dugout. Runner on second base, 1 out. Top of the 7th inning between the Harwich Mariners and the Falmouth Commodores. The 2-0 Mariners lead. After 6 outstanding innings from Ricky DeVito, they turn to Caleb Freeman in the top of the 7th. DeVito's final line, 6 innings, 4 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, and 10 strikeouts. The 1-1 pitch cut on a high pop-up foul over our press box in the count 1-2. Velocity for DeVito was 90 to 94. We've seen him earlier on Cape Cod hit as high as 96. And Freeman, another guy who will hit as high as 95, 96 plus. The 1-2 pitch, swung on and missed. He blows another fastball by Will Brennan. And a couple of straight strikeouts from Caleb Freeman. There are 2 outs in the top of the 7th.
And it's going to be tough for these Commodores hitters. They've just proven so far they can't hit the high cheddar. And both from DeVito and Freeman, 2 guys that throw more on the hard side. Again, this is a Commodores offense that has struggled with offense this season. They're bottom league in hits and average.
Got the hitting going recently, though, but not gotten it tonight. Scored 8 runs last night, 10 runs the night before that, and then 8 runs in the game before that. So, again, they've been putting runs on the board, but just not tonight. And overall, throughout the season, they have struggled a bit with their average as the first pitch misses outside to the leadoff hitter, Matt Wallner. Runner on second base, 2 outs. The 1-0 pitch to Wallner. Fastball on the outside corner, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. And you know, Freeman is somebody who relies so heavily on that fastball. It's his go-to pitch in and pitch out. He has one other pitch, which is a breaking ball that he will use intermittently, but usually it's fastball after fastball after fastball. But if he can blow it by hitters, it's still effective. The 1-1. Fastball at the knees, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Julian off second, 2 outs, top of the 7th inning, a 2-0 Mariners lead. The 1-2 pitch runs way inside, ends up hitting Wallner. I think that Caleb Freeman is actually somewhat fortunate that it came up and hit Wallner, because if it did not, it would have allowed Julian to advance to third base. As it got all the way to the backstop, it just sort of clipped by his jersey.
Yeah, just clipped the jersey area. That's why, you know, jersey, when it's baggy, can catch a pitch where it's inside or outside, or, you know, around your body area, and that came well inside and just clipped the jersey.
Well, I can't imagine that Freeman is excited to see Cameron Cannon because he has 2 hits on the day, 2 of the Falmouth 4 hits. First pitch, fastball in there for strike 1.
We talk about Brenning having one of the hits. He has 2 of the hits. The only other hit is coming from the DH, Kyle Stowers. So, again, not much offense tonight for the Commodores.
Mariners pitching staff, for the most part, has kept them in check. Had 4 hits. They've been walked a total of 3 times. And the 0-1 pitch is swung on. A high pop-up in the infield. Tanner Morris coming in. And he makes the catch on the infield grass to end the inning. So after 6.5, we head to the 7th inning stretch. It's 2-0 Harwich. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Bottom of the 7th inning, 2-0 Mariners. Austin Rooney alongside my broadcasting partner, Thomas Inzarella. Glad to have you on hand for tonight's broadcast. The 4, 5, and 6 hitters due up in the inning. Casals, Eichhoff, and Norman. First pitch to Casals misses outside for ball 1. The 1-0 delivery. Clips the inside part of the plate, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike on the right-handed hitter out of Maine. Casals digs his back foot back into the right-hander's batter's box. The 1-0 pitch cut on and missed. Count 1 ball and 2 strikes. I know I said 1-0, but there was a 1 strike on him already. So the count 1-2 now on Danny Casals. The 1-2 pitch, fastball upstairs in the count, even at 2 balls and 2 strikes on the right-handed hitter. The 2-2 swung on and missed, struck him out. Casals goes down swinging, and there's 1 out in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Yeah, so Miller's nice job so far coming in from relief. He did run some trouble last inning, but found a way around it. And so far strikes out the first batter he sees here in the 7th inning.
And Nate Eichhoff, left-handed hitter who's 1 for 3 on the day and hitting well recently. First pitch is a breaking ball. Swung on and missed in the count 0-1.
He had a single back in the second. He had 1 in the 4th taken away by the second baseman, Julian. So, again, he could have had maybe 2 singles here, but
since his tough start at the beginning of the season, he's hitting over 320 as the 0-1 pitch misses outside in the count 1-1. He's been consistent, and he's been a staple of the middle of the order for the Harwich Mariners ever since. The 1-1 pitch swung on and fouled back to the backstop in the count 1-2. The 1-2 delivery swung on, a high pop-up into the shallow right field grass. The first baseman, Sims, moves out and makes the catch for the second out of the inning. So a quick 2 up and 2 down from Miller, as he continues to pitch quite well in tonight's ball game. Thrown just 42 pitches through 2 2/3 innings of work. And now it's a 6-hitter, Ben Norman. Also digging in from that left side, tries to bunt, but he misses it altogether on the count 0-1.
It looks like he's trying to bunt for a base hit there as he trying to get a little bit of a running start out of the batter's box. Obviously, you have to still stay in the box and make contact.
Trying the drag bunt. The 0-1 pitch swung on and headed right back up towards our press box again in the count 0-2.
I was actually almost hit at Fenway too when I was back there. Ball that was errantly thrown from the infield, luckily for one of the Mariners' assistant coaches. I believe it was the strength and conditioning coach, Donnie Gress, who saved my life.
0-2 pitch swung on and fouled off the glove of visor. I do remember that. Ball was headed right for your head, probably.
I was talking with one of the traders, and Kyle, Mariners, the intern from URI, and I was talking with one of them Orleans broadcasters, and we're just talking, and all of a sudden, throw comes right at us.
0-2 pitch cut on and fouled off down the left field side, out of play.
So I could have had a forever, an interesting Fenway story for the rest of my life, but
I think you're happier without that story.
Yeah, I would think so.
The 0-2 pitch to Norman. Swung on and missed, struck him out. Another really solid inning from Mitchell Miller to end the bottom of the 7th. It's 2-0 Mariners. We head to the top of the 8th. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Top half of the 8th inning from White House Field. It's the 3, 4, and 5 hitters due up for the Falmouth Commodores. Langworthy, Stowers, and Sims. First pitch, fastball, misses upstairs. Austin Rooney alongside Thomas and Zarella as the Mariners hold a 2-0 lead. Glad to have you on hand for tonight's broadcast. The 1-0 delivery. Fastball misses low in the count. 2 balls and no strikes on Langworthy. Langworthy just hitting 194 on the season. But he still found that hole in the 3 spot. 2-0 pitch swung on and missed. Count 2 balls and 1 strike. Langworthy does have 5 home runs, so he has some power.
And it's been a short stay as well. He came here in the College World Series.
2-1 pitch, swung on and missed. The count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 pitch, swung on and missed, struck him out. Langworthy goes down swinging, and there's one away in the top of the 8th. Another fastball. And it's fastball after fastball after fastball, and he's blowing it by hitter after hitter after hitter. And again, it's been an outstanding performance from Caleb Freeman.
It's been an outstanding performance for both pitchers. 13 of the 30 hitters this evening have been retired. By the way, the strikeouts, almost half the hitters that have gone up tonight.
And 13 of the 22 outs have been by the way of the K. So the first pitch is swung on and fouled off by Stowers. Count 0-1 on the lefty.
The only Commodores hitters not to have a strikeout is Cameron Cannon. He has, again, we mentioned before, 2 of the 4 hits on the evening for the Commodores.
The 0-1 swung on, a high pop-up over the press box, and the count 0-2. Base paths are empty, 1 out. Top of the 8th inning, 2-0 Mariners from White House Field. Mariners trying to get back in the win column tonight as they finish off their 3-game homestand. The 0-2 pitch, a breaking ball in there for strike 3. We haven't seen the breaking ball much at all tonight from Caleb Freeman, but he uses it to get Kyle Stowers with a strikeout.
I mean, when you have a fastball like he does, you don't use it very often, but just to keep hitters off balance, you use it and just froze Stowers there, especially a guy that's as dangerous as he is. Well, top 5 in the league in average.
So now 14 strikeouts combined from the 2 pitchers. And it's Davis Sims from the right side. First pitch, swung on, fouled off. Count 0-1, and if Freeman's able to finish off this inning without too many issues, I would not be at all surprised to see him head back out for the 9th inning and try to do the same thing.
Yeah, try to work out a nice save there. 9-out save.
The 0-1 pitch, breaking ball at the knees for strike 2. I don't think Sims was a big fan of that call. I think when it crossed home plate, it was right around the knees, but it was below the knees when it was caught by the catcher, Driscoll. So Freeman gets the benefit of the doubt on that call. The 0-2 pitch, swung on, a high pop-up into foul territory. Driscoll giving chase over towards the screen, jumps, and makes the catch for the final out of the top of the 8th inning. After 7.5, it's the Mariners 2. And the Commodores, nothing. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Mariners Baseball is brought to you by Cape Cod Healthcare, expert physicians, quality hospitals, superior care. Curry College. For more information, go online at www.curry.edu. And Chatham Bars Inn, a proud member of leading hotels of the world. We're back in the bottom half of the 8th inning from White House Field. A 2-0 Mariners lead. Austin Rooney alongside my broadcasting partner Thomas Zinzarella as Gabe Rivera digs in from the right side. And the first pitch is a breaking ball that misses low for ball 1.
Yeah, well, the only run scored this team were 2 runs in the 5th by the Mariners on an error.
1-0 pitch, breaking ball misses low, count 2 balls and no strikes on Rivera.
Mariners maybe looking to put on a couple here towards the end of this game.
2-0 pitch, runs outside in the count, 3 balls and no strikes. And Mitchell Miller looked really good throughout his first 3 innings of work, but first 3 pitches in the bottom of the 8th have been for balls. A 3-0 delivery outside, and Gabe Rivera works just his 5th walk of the season. 3 of those 5 walks coming in the last 2 games.
The catcher from George Mason, Logan.
Yeah, not really conventional for Rivera to work some walks here, but really starting to be a little more patient at the plate, swinging at less pitches out of the zone.
Mariners have just a total of 7 hits tonight, but it's more than the Commodores' 4, and it's been enough to give them 2 runs. The first pitch is a breaking ball, just clipping the outside corner on Logan Driscoll for strike 1. Looked a little bit outside, but the pitcher Miller gets the benefit of the doubt from the home plate umpire James Fonseca. Runner on first base, no outs. Bottom of the 8th inning, a 2-0 Mariners lead. They're looking to add a couple of insurance runs. The 0-1 pitch, Driscoll shows bunt, and it's up in the air, and a diving catch made by Miller for the first out of the inning. Quickly back to the bag is Rivera, but Driscoll unable to get the job done on that bunt.
That's just some pure athleticism on the mound by Mitchell Miller. And wow, that was a heck of a diving grab by the pitcher. I mean, I know the third base was coming in as well, but the pitcher just lays the body out there and makes the grab.
Now Will Matheson, the 9-hitter in tonight's lineup, and he's shown good contact recently. Still searching for his first hit on Cape Cod. First pitch on the tall right-hander misses inside for ball 1. Matheson easily 6'6", possibly 6'7". His Stanford bio has him listed at 6'5", but we both agree that that is not quite his height. 1-0 pitch. At the knees for strike 1, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. We've seen him hit the ball hard. We're yet to see him hit the ball out of the ballpark. He did that quite a bit back at Stanford this season when he hit 7 homers in just 78 at-bats. The 1-1 pitch on the outside corner, and Matheson going to get a little bit unlucky with some of these calls, and the count now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Rivera off of first base, 1 out, 2-0 Mariners lead. The 1-2 pitch. Fastball misses outside, and the count 2-2. So Matheson digs back in. The 2-2 from Miller. Fastball runs inside, and the count 3 balls and 2 strikes. And Miller has gone quite deep in tonight's game. He's closing in on 60 pitches.
There is a left-hander tossing in the Commodores bullpen, but very lightly.
3-2 pitch, runner goes, but the misses outside. And so there are now runners on first and second with 1 out as Will Matheson works a walk. It's his 3rd walk he's worked this season. So now runners on first and second with 1 out, and it's back to the top of the order for the Harwich Mariners as Tanner Morris will be stepping in, but let's see if there's going to be a pitching change from White House Field. There's at least going to be a visit at the mound.
I think he called him over.
There's going to be a new pitcher from White House Field. We'll step aside, and when we come back, we'll sort out the details. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. It's 2-0 Harwich. Bottom half of the 8th inning, a 2-0 Harwich Mariners lead. There are runners on first and second with one out. Tanner Morris steps in from the left side. Back to the top of the Mariners order. It will be Morris followed by Shunk if necessary. And then it would be Lipsius who's in the 3 spot. 1, 2, and 3 hitters hitting quite well right now. The first pitch to Morris swung on and fouled off. Morris 2 for 3 in tonight's ball game. Shunk 2 for 4. Lipsius 1 for 3. They account for 5 of the team's 7 base hits tonight. The 0-1 delivery from Killam swung on and a ground ball to second. Julian has a trouble handling it, and he's unable to flip to second for the force out. He's only going to be able to go to first, so the runner's advancing to second and third now with 2 outs.
Yeah, that's big. It just seems like on the transfer he's ready to do the flip over towards second base with the right hand, but just they couldn't quite get it out, and then decided is just going to go towards first base, which was a smart decision, just at least get it out, and that's what he did. So this could be a big spot. Now we saw already the Mariners scored 2 runs off an error by the first baseman. Now let's see if this little miscue over at second can lead to a run or 2.
Runners on second and third, 2 outs. First pitch to Aaron Shunk. Breaking ball swung on and missed. And the count 0-1.
Especially with 2 outs and over at second base pinch running was Jordan Green for Will Matheson. So now got some speed over at second.
Simple base hit could double that Mariners lead and give Caleb Freeman a nice cushion. No one warming up in the Harwich Mariners bullpen, so it looks like it'll be Caleb Freeman's 9th.
I did see Mizyazik. He keeps coming in and out, so I don't know.
My guess is that if Freeman runs into any trouble in the top of the 9th, they'll go to Mizyazik afterwards. Runners on second and third, 2 outs. The 0-1 pitch misses upstairs and outside, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Jordan Green off of second. Gabe Rivera off third. Will Matheson originally walked, but Green came in as a pinch runner. The 1-1 pitch from Killam. Breaking ball in there for strike 2. Just painting the zone at the knees.
A good looking pitch there by Killam. Curveball that's kind of a backdoor type of curveball type, is a left-hander to a righty, so lefty pitcher going to start on the outside corner and finish in.
The 1-2 pitch misses upstairs and outside, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. So far on the season, Killam has allowed 5 runs in 9 innings. He struck out 10. So he hasn't been perfect, but he comes on tonight with runners on second and third, 2 outs. Bottom of the 8th inning, the 2-2 pitch misses low and in the dirt, and the count runs full at 3 balls and 2 strikes.
That's a good stop by the catcher, Eisler. Really sacrificing the body for a run because Rivera's over on third base and Green is over at second. So if that ball gets away, 1 run's coming around, another one's advancing towards third. So, again, knowing the situation and sacrificing the body.
Shunk steps back into the right-handed batter's box. Green off second, Rivera off third, 2 outs. Bottom of the 8th inning, a 2-0 Harwich Mariners lead, the 3-2. Breaking ball misses outside, and the bases are loaded with 2 outs. All 3 Mariners base runners reaching by the way of the walk.
Number 13, the first baseman from the University of Tennessee, Andre Lipsius.
And the Harwich Mariners with an opportunity to blow this game open in the bottom of the 8th inning as they lead this game 2-0. First pitch to Lipsius. Fastball on the outside corner, and the count 0-1. Lipsius is 1 for 3 this evening and has hit the ball really well recently. The 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball cut on and missed, and the count 0-2 on the right-handed hitter. He reached base 8 out of 10 times versus the Katuitt Kettleers earlier in the week. The 0-2 from Killam misses low and in the dirt, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. He's got to be careful about those balls in the dirt. And so far, Iser has done a really nice job keeping the balls in front of him, but it's going to be really tough if the Falmouth Commodores allow another run, as the Mariners pitching staff has been lights out tonight. The 1-2 pitch swung on. Line drive into right center field for a base hit. Rivera scores. Rounding third is Green. He'll score. Pulling on the brakes at third base is Shunk. It's a 2 RBI single off the bat of Andre Lipsius, and the Harwich Mariners doubled their lead 4-0.
And again, we talk about timely hitting. It hasn't been the last couple of games, but Andre Lipsius able to rake in 2 runs there. And that's big for the Mariners, as now they double the lead from 2-0 to now 4-0. It gives them a little bit of cushion now heading into the 9th.
And Danny Casals digs in from the right side. First pitch, ground ball gently over to second. He'll flip to short. And that will do it for the bottom of the 8th inning, but not before the Mariners double their lead. And now are ahead 4-0 after the bottom of the 8th inning. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Top of the 9th inning from White House Field. It's a 4-0 Harwich Mariners lead. They doubled their lead back in the bottom of the 8th with a 2 RBI single off the bat of Andre Lipsius. First pitch from Caleb Freeman in the top of the 9th. A fastball on the outside corner for strike 1 on Logan Davidson. And Davidson has been ice cold at the plate tonight. 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts.
Hey, he's got the hat trick, looking for the golden sombrero here.
At bat number 100 on the season for the switch hitter. 0-1 pitch. This is outside, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. And Caleb Freeman has been really impressive tonight. There's no other way to put it. He's pitched 2 innings of work. He's allowed no hits, 1 walk, and he struck out 4. The 1-1 pitch to Davidson. Fastball swung on and missed. The count 1-2. Davidson, followed by Julian and Iser, the 6, 7, and 8 hitters, due up in the 9th inning. The 1-2 pitch swung on, a high fly ball to left field. Eichhoff drifting back on the run. He jumps, he can't get the play. Rounding first and heading into second base with a leadoff double is Logan Davidson. So there's a runner on second base to start things off in the top of the 9th.
And Davidson finally shows some life at the plate. Mentioned before, 0 for 3 with 3 Ks coming in to this at bat. Then just hits a high one out in the air towards left center field. And nice effort from Eichhoff. Well, tracked it all the way down to almost the warning track. Tried to make a leaping grab as he did earlier in the game, but just couldn't quite get that one. A little bit taller than he was. And now the Commodores have something going here with leadoff runner on in scoring position.
Runner on second, no outs. Top of the ninth inning. Andrew Misiazik throwing in the Harwich Mariners bullpen. The first pitch runs upstairs and inside on Edward Julian. Count 1 ball and no strikes on the left-handed hitter. And I'd have to think if Caleb Freeman is unable to get Julian, the Mariners would probably look to Andrew Misiazik at that point. The 1-0 pitch swung on and popped up foul behind home plate, out of play. And the count 1 ball and 1 strike on Julian. Julian has only registered 1 official at bat. The other 2 plate appearances he had resulted in walks. Only at bat officially registered was a strikeout. Mariners pitching staff has had a total of 14 of those. The 1-1 pitch to Julian. Breaking ball misses low and inside, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike. Runner on second base, no outs. 4-0 Mariners lead. The 2-1 pitch from Freeman. Fastball swung on and missed. Freeman with one of the hardest fastballs on Cape Cod. Throws it mid to upper 90s.
Yeah, it's tough to hit that pitch, especially when it's elevated in the zone. It's going to be more like 100.
When the ball is higher due to the spin rate, it oftentimes looks like that ball is extra couple miles per hour harder than it actually is. 2-2 pitch, swung on, a ground ball right to shortstop Tanner Morris Fields. He'll throw across the diamond, and there's 1 away in the top of the 9th.
Even though the runner advantage, I think the Mariners are at this point rather just trade outs for runs, even if that means that over at third, Davidson will score.
Yeah, at this point, the Harwich Mariners lead this game by 4 runs. If it means that they end up winning this game by 3 runs as opposed to 4, I don't think anybody's going to be too upset.
Now batting for the Commodores, number 40 from Auburn, Stephen Williams.
Stephen Williams steps in from the left side. First pitch to the left-handed hitter. Fastball misses upstairs for ball 1 from Freeman. Stephen Williams hitting .311 on Cape Cod. It's 0 for 3 his last game versus Orleans as the 1-0 pitch is swung on. A ground ball through the right side for a base hit. An RBI for that matter as Logan Driscoll crosses home plate. And the Falmouth Commodores cut the deficit to 4-1 in the top of the 9th.
Yeah, Eisler just doing a nice job there to pull that ball in the hole, and now the Commodores have their first run this evening. Logan Davidson coming around to score easily.
And here comes Coach Steve Englert walking out to the mound, and you'd have to think this will do it for Caleb Freeman's night. Misiazik's been warming up for quite some time. You can't really risk anything right now in the 9th inning. The Mariners want to get this win and bounce back. As it looks pretty likely they'll turn to Misiazik. No signal yet from the coach, Steve Engler, and now he motions over to the bullpen. Runner on first base, 1 out in the top of the 9th. It's 4-1 Mariners. We'll step aside as we sort out the details. When we come back, it's Misiazik coming in for the Harwich Mariners. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Top of the 9th inning. It's a 4-1 Harwich Mariners lead. Runner on first base, 1 out. New pitcher for the Harwich Mariners, Andrew Miziasic. He has a 1.08 ERA, allowed 2 runs in 16 2/3 innings of work. The first pitch misses upstairs and outside to the 9-hitter Will Brennan, who digs in from the left side. The only run scored by the Commodores, or one of the 2 runs was scored by the Commodores, and it was a fly ball out towards left center that Chris Gallen lost in the lights. As the 1-0 pitch is swung on and missed, and the count 1-1, ended up being a triple. And the run ended up coming home. Aside from that, Miziasic has been next to perfect. 1-1 pitch just misses for ball 2, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike on the 9-hitter Will Brennan. Handley leads off first. The 2-1 pitch swung on, a high fly ball into shallow left center field on the run, and sliding, unable to make the catch is the center fielder Norman. Left fielder Eichhoff throws the ball into second base, but there are runners on first and second with 1 out in the top of the 9th inning. And stepping to the plate is the leadoff hitter Matt Wallner, who represents the tying run for the Falmouth Commodores.
Again, just a high pop-up in the air towards left center, and I think a little miscommunication. Norman thought he had it and then slid in towards the ball and just came up maybe a foot or 2 short. So might have had a little backspin, or might have actually tailed more towards left center because it was a left-handed hitter. It tailed an extra foot on Norman, and it just fell in for a hit.
Brennan off of first base, Handley off second. First pitch to the leadoff hitter Wallner. Misses low for ball 1, and the count 1-0 on the left-handed hitter.
And this is a dangerous spot now for the Mariners. The top of the order coming back around, especially Wallner, one of the more dangerous hitters in this lineup. 4 home runs on the season.
1-0 pitch swung on, a high fly ball to right field, tailing foul. Oh, that one would have been extra bases if that was fair. And Andrew Miziasic and this Mariners team lucks out about 4 feet foul down the right field line, and that would have been a massive hit for the Falmouth Commodores. Played 2 runs and probably would have been a triple for Wallner.
And now the Mariners get a second chance here. Let's see if they can learn from that.
I mean, it doesn't get much harder than a line drive down the right field line towards that corner. And I think 3 runs would have pretty easily been able to score, as Brennan runs very well at first base. The 1-1 pitch, fastball on the outside corner for strike 2. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Wallner. And out to the mound is Logan Driscoll to have a quick chat with Andrew Miziasic. Make sure they're on the same page. Runners on first and second, 1 out. A 4-1 Harwich Mariners lead. Mariners scored 2 in the 5th, added 2 more in the bottom of the 8th. Falmouth having scored their only run here in the top of the 9th inning. And Andrew Miziasic has the task of trying to finish this game off, something he's done so well this season. The 1-2 pitch swung on, a line drive. Shunk gets a glove on it. Throw to second is in time. Oh, outstanding play by Aaron Shunk, who couldn't catch the line drive initially. He ended up dropping it, went to the ground, and then he threw on to second base, and it was just in time to get Will Brennan at second. Nice awareness by Danny Casals covering second base, and they get 1 out. So now 2 away in the top of the 9th inning. It's a 4-1 Harwich Mariners lead. A runner's on first and third for the Falmouth Commodores, and the Mariners will take that all day long.
Again, game of fundamentals where a line drive at the third baseman. It's almost, growing up, you always learn as the windshield wipers. Anything to the left side, the infield rotates over. So Casals moved here to the second already, and
the first pitch to the second hitter, Cameron Cannon, misses for ball 1.
So again, nice job by Shunk to really stop that ball in the infield as well. It was a hot shot over at third. Just knocking the ball down is a great task.
1-0 pitch, swung on and missed from Cannon in the count, even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Handley off of third base, and Wallner off of first. 2 outs. 1-1 count on Cameron Cannon, who has 2 hits already in this evening's ball game. The 1-1 pitch, fastball swung on, a line drive to right field, diving and making the catch is Gabe Rivera to end it. The Commodores threaten in the 9th with the Harwich Mariners come out on top 4-1 in a much-needed win here at White House Field to close out the homestand. The Mariners win 1, lose 1, and tie 1 on this 3-game homestand. But what a big win it was tonight as the Mariners sweep the season series versus the Falmouth Commodores tonight by a score of 4-1.
Now just a great game played by both sides. It was a pitcher's duel as we kind of expected until really late in the game when last 2 innings we saw 3 runs scored combined, 2 by the Mariners, 1 by the Commodores, and that's a big win for the Mariners as they continue. They were 3-6-1 their last 10, so again, just trying to trend in the upwards area as Orleans lost today, and Brewster is on the back of their heels, so again, it's just trying to chase Chatham in the number 2 spot, and that's a tough task in its own to chase Brewster, which Chatham was up 5 points on Harwich coming in, and that win is a big win. You got to keep up with the person in front of you. And that's what the Mariners did today, and I think they got the win today. Great pitching by Ricky DeVito to start things off. A guy that went 6 innings, 4 hits, no runs, no earned, 2 walks, and 10 punch-outs. I think the whole bullpen by itself did a great job. Some defensive plays we saw helped them out. Gabe Rivera with that nice catch out there in right field to end the game. And again, that's another big win for the Mariners as they head towards the end of the season.
Well, let's take a look at tonight's pitching for the Harwich Mariners. It starts with Ricky DeVito, and you can't do much better than what we saw out of Ricky DeVito tonight. 6 innings of work, 10 strikeouts, allowed 4 hits and 2 walks. But then again, keeping the pitch count down allows him to go late in tonight's ball game, and it was outstanding.
Yeah, he just works very efficient on the mound. He attacks hitters right away, doesn't really fool around. Goes a fastball and the curveball, which are both fantastic. He can throw both of them for strikes. And he was just keeping these Commodores hitters off balance all evening long, and you got to give him credit. He came with his game plan, and he definitely went by it the whole time.
And then it was time for Caleb Freeman to come in. He looked outstanding in the 7th and 8th, struck out 4 of his first 6 outs were by the way of the K, and then he came in the 9th inning, and he allowed a leadoff double to Logan Davidson. And then I got a ground out, but there was a runner on third with 1 out. And the Falmouth Commodores managed to score their only run on an RBI off the bat of Stephen Williams, who was a pinch hitter in tonight's game. It scored a run, and then that was the end of the night for Caleb Freeman. The Mariners then went to Andrew Miziazik, who came in, and it looked a little bit tough as it was a bloop base hit to the first hitter, Will Brennan, who was the first hitter that Miziazik faced. So there were runners on first and third then with 1 out. And the Mariners got, or first and second, I beg your pardon. And then it was a line drive over towards Aaron Shunk, and he made a really nice play. He was unable to come up with the line drive initially. He fields it, though, and throws it over towards second base, and he gets 1 out on that play, which is absolutely crucial because then you don't have the tying run on first base, and you have 2 outs.
I don't think if that play didn't happen, I don't think Rivera would have laid out maybe in right field, then he would have tried to play it safe and just try to let it bounce in front of him. So again, that's a big crucial play you just mentioned over at third base by Shunk to just knock down the ball in the infield and just try to get at least 1 out, which they did. It was a close play over at second base, and umpire ruled that he was out. So good job there by Shunk and by Casals to just give a little bit of a stretch over off at second base like a first baseman and make the nice play.
You mentioned it. Gabe Rivera recorded the final out and a diving play out in right field to give the Mariners a 4-1 win. Before we wrap things up here, though, I'd like to talk a little bit about the hitting tonight. The 1, 2, and 3 hitters each have 2 hits. Morris 2 for 4, Shunk 2 for 4, and Lipsius was also 2 for 4. Shunk and Lipsius did walk once each, and Morris was hit by a pitch, so each of them reaches 3 times, twice via the hit. And I thought they all looked quite good at the plate tonight, and it's always so important to have the top of your order going.
I don't know, if you want to try to score some runs, the top of the order has to produce, and those are your most lethal guys, 1 through 4 guys. But then also you look at Towns towards the bottom of the order as well. Rivera reaching twice, once on a single and a walk, and then you see Nate Eichhoff in the 5-hole. He did get out of it, but he also reached base, and just getting those guys on board, and it's because they had the top of the guys' eyes where they scored the 2 runs in the 5th inning. Look, with the back-to-back singles to start the inning off, that's all led to the winning the game today. If those 2 hits didn't happen, they probably would have scored 2 runs, and this game would have been tied late in the game.
Well, that'll do it for us here from White House Field as the Harwich Mariners take home a 4-1 win. Tomorrow night, the Mariners are on the road at Orleans at 7 p.m. So, for my broadcasting partner, Thomas Inzarella, I'm Austin Rooney saying so long from White House Field as the Mariners win Game 3 of their homestand by a score of 4-1.